scenes and sources.
Scenes and sources. Okay.
Right, the scenes.
Yeah, it's about a 3 or 4 year old laptop, and over time it got slow.
Here's what started this big mess. Windows 365.
Yeah, sir, I tried that, but it's not working. Yeah, same, sir. I tried that, but it's not working.
Quite annoying. And most any time that I try to use my computer, I'm plagued with pop-ups.
Is that the only way that you can run the new Office? Is web-based programs?
Is somebody starting to snore?
You're boring, Doug. Sorry.
I don't even know how I did that. This is a new one. I accidentally started the stream too early. Good morning. It's June 12th, 2024. It's 8:55 a.m. Part of my startup routine is to... Hello, John. I'm turning on desktop audio because I think I was the only one that heard that. Yeah, I was testing my Stream Deck buttons and I was going to test the bumper. The bumper is that piece that plays at the beginning. So I pressed that, I watched it started playing, and then I heard an echoing in my ear. Why is that happening? And I thought, well, the only way that could happen is if it's coming over the stream, but I'm not streaming yet. I don't know how it started streaming. I pressed the button for the bumper, and that does not automatically start the stream. Audio level is low. Okay, that should have fixed the audio level. That's another part that I have to add to my preparation steps. Also, my cameras are not holding the defaults from the prior day anymore. Oh, I'm pretty sure you heard my explanation. It was just low volume. Yep, and there's probably going to be people who normally don't come in till right at start time who are going to be saying, what's going on? Why is it already started? I'm going to start with the chat room question that came in. John Williams says, I have a question about an Asus motherboard that is unusual. Even though the computer is off, a LAN port is blinking. Is that so someone can do remote access? No, it's not for remote access, but it is totally normal on today's computers. And I'll answer that in a little bit, Rand. Yeah, that's totally normal on today's computers. It's not for remote access, it's for wake on LAN, so that you can send a signal through the network to send a signal through the network to turn the computer on. But as far as I know, there's no remote access software that will turn the computer on unless it has that capability built into it. That's a separate capability to send that signal. All the remote softwares I've used, the computer on the other end has to be on, not necessarily logged in. Some remote software products would require for the computer to actually be logged in. That would be ones that actually launch their remote software during the login process. Okay. It's not even 9 o'clock. I don't know if I should repeat the explanation of why I'm early. I will repeat it, but let's wait till after the top of the hour. Okay, so I'll go on to, which one do I want to go to? Let's go to Pineapple Road. We got a response from Pineapple Road. We talked about the laptop mystery with the symptom where it seemed like the battery wasn't functional on the computer. So he's responded here. With the laptop mystery, they were pressing the actual power button, which on that laptop is also a fingerprint scanner. I believe I did actually tell them which one is the power button. I think they actually asked me which one it is. I also tried pressing it myself. So he arrived on site and he tried pressing the power button before connecting the AC adapter, and even tried a press and hold, but it didn't come to life. So the press and hold would be hold the power button down for 10 seconds to force the computer off. Now, since that's also a fingerprint scanner, that power button may be a different technology power button. I'm not sure if holding it down for 10 seconds is a valid move on that style of power button. It didn't come to life until the charger was plugged in and the power button pressed with the charger connected. I just disabled the repeating speaker bot messages for those of you who are concerned about that. Continuing. After I had finished setting it up, now he's kind of going back in time here, using the time machine, going back in time to when he was setting up the computer. After I had finished setting it up, I did fully shut it down. I think I did the setup in multiple stages. After performing the initial setup, I had to put it to one side and finish installing the required software on it later that day. Okay, he was interrupted, had to do some other things. And for part of that, I might have been running it on battery power. And they always meaning his clients, they always fully shut down computers when they have finished using them. Also, a standard part of my checklist for setting up a new laptop is to disable fast startup, or whatever the heck it's called. Using my phone to type this, and I don't want to have to grab my 16-inch monster to check out what it's called. Yeah, I don't keep all those words straight. Used to. Don't bother with that anymore. Based on communication history with them, my clients, his clients, it appears I ordered it around the 14th or 15th of May. It's a Dell computer. He may have ordered it directly from Dell. Maybe he ordered it through Amazon. Update. I've now come up with a theory as to what could have been going on. I know that for a while, laptops have had a feature where the battery is electronically disconnected during shipping, and plugging in the charger will activate the battery. I had never heard of that until he brought that up here. I'm wondering if this laptop might have a way for it to re-enter that state automatically if it hasn't been used for a while. If it does, I would suspect that would be a maybe adjustable in BIOS setup. So you might go look there, and if you find something there, let us know. So I considered which direction do I want to turn for this. This is one of those things that I feel a little inadequate with wording a Google search. I thought this is something I think Copilot or some AI would be good at. So I asked the question there. Do laptops have a feature where the battery is electronically disconnected during shipping and plugging in the charger will activate the battery? Can I zoom in on this? No. Zooms in on the website, not on the Copilot. Yes, replies Copilot. Laptops often have a safety feature to prevent battery activation during shipping. Often? I don't know. I've never come across it before. When a laptop is shipped, the battery may be electronically disconnected or otherwise secured to prevent accidental activation. For example, the battery might be disconnected internally. A protective covering such as tape might be placed over the device's power switch to prevent it from turning on during transit. Remember to avoid turning on devices with installed batteries while they are being shipped, and ensure that the batteries are not defective or placed incorrectly in devices that help maintain transportation. So I'm not sure how reliable that response is, but it was Copilot saying, yes, that is a thing. So it'll be interesting to see if Pineapple Road comes back to us with anything more on that. Now, for those of you who weren't watching yesterday, the issue was that his client reported they couldn't turn the computer back on. They didn't connect the AC adapter. He went on site. Once he connected the AC adapter, he was able to turn it on, and he noted that it had 50% charge. So there was a head scratcher. Why didn't it turn on just from the power button? And that was the first time, just 2 or 3 days ago, that his client had tried to turn it on since it was delivered to them. It was a secondary laptop for traveling. It wasn't going to be a daily driver. So it had been off for a fair amount of time. Although, what, around a month maybe is all it could have been, because he's saying back here, ordered the computer around 14th or 15th of May. So delivered it towards the end of May. We're only in the second week of June. So that seems like a short amount of time for it to not be able to turn on from battery power. All right, it is after 9 o'clock, so I'll go explain. You got some splaining to do, Lucy. People asks, early today. Some other questions in here about early. I started a few minutes early. What was it, like 5 minutes early? Because I was testing my buttons, testing my Stream Deck buttons. And I pressed the button to test the bumper. That's that thing that plays at the beginning of the show. And I hear the bumper playing. I see it on OBS. And then after a few seconds, I hear an echoing. I hear the same sound echoing. I'm thinking to myself, the only way that could happen is if I'm actually streaming. I didn't start the stream. So I went to look at the tab for monitoring the stream, and yes, the stream was actually started. I don't know how it happened. I have a stream button right next to the bumper button. So my normal procedure is press the bumper button, then press the stream button. Did I do that out of habit? I must have. All right. What else you got, Doug? I got something else. Let's go. I'm going to look in emails. Now, if somebody comes up with a question in chat and they don't use a speaker bot, please, somebody else, bring my attention to it with a ¡C for chat. In the beginning of the chat, let's see, where did I do this? Yeah, let's see. I am first John Williams. He was at 8:11 my time. I said, yes, he is first. Bobby Warren came in. John Williams. Live Windows Training says, I have a couple new random elements today. Jaden Stowe. And there was John Williams' question. Okay, so then I'm going to go get this. Let's see. Tim Cruz. Tim Cruz, let's see. Now, wait a minute. What happened? Keith just did a !R, and I didn't see a random element occur. Are they not working? Do I need to go back and fix this thing again? Let's see. That was in commands.
Keith said it worked.
Oh, did it work? All right.
Ken Stout Live said it was the fog.
It was the fog. It was a picture of the inside of my head. If it was the fog. But that's not one of the new ones. So, yeah, it's the luck of the draw to get a new. Did I just close? I just closed StreamerBot. Such a Doug. Jiminy Christmas. So that, I don't think that random from Ran and from Ken worked because I just closed. I was trying to close that settings window and I must have closed too much. So here I just reopened it. So try again. Try again. Go make sure that the platform signed in. And so I'm not, oh, there's Princess. He still didn't get one of the new ones. There's two new ones. And you can't get the next one to show until Princess is finished. She's such a princess. She's the longest one. I'm looking at chat to see what else. Jaden Stowe says, sorry, I haven't been on here much. Quite all right, Jaden. Greg M. early today. Yeah. Still involved with the weather report.
Tech Wiz said, aho, cramba.
Ay, caramba.
Tech Wiz said, hi, princess.
Problems osmosis from Ken Stout, and still didn't get one of the new randoms. You get my foggy head again. Zavi Menorah asked broken watch. Josh is there. Alice. I'm looking at the chat messages without bringing up on screen. Oystein, problem solved. Is that your previous problem that you had talked to us about, I think? Let's see, when was...
Stout Live said my bets is on the new randoms, not working at all.
Oh, that could... No, because all I did for the new randoms was to change the video file that was used for them. So I shouldn't have to... Have you still not seen a new random?
Oystein said the problem with the chat bot.
Is it? Give me another random, somebody. There's one. There's one of the new ones. That's a new one. My audio is fading in and out. That might be me moving closer or away from the microphone.
Said your audio is fading in and out.
Is it here? I'm moving closer to the monitor. That might fade me out. I have the microphone a little bit different position. You can actually see it. That looks like that's, let's see, Blonde Dog says, I will take a back seat that looks like the subject is moved on.
Al J said how to stop log files from occurring?
Okay, Alice has a question. How to stop .log files from occurring? Well, you have to turn off the logging feature for each different element that's doing log files. But log files are a normal thing about Windows. I'm reluctant to mess with them. Is there a reason why you think it's important to stop the log files? Log files happen from lots of different sources. Let's go see how many log files I got going on. Let's see, that's, oh, stop doing your old habits, Doug. Windows key R, Resmon. Somebody pointed out in chat that that's a better way to do it. And you're right, it's just old habits. So if we sort by name, you see all these log files. So all these log files are being created by Windows System, Steam Web Helper. So Steam is doing some, Chrome is doing some log files. Those log files are, in some cases, I think, important for those products.
Al J said they keep multiplying, and this is a new thing. This is in the temp folder.
In the temp folder, you're getting log files. How about you send a screenshot of what you have? Let's go get, let's see, if I do %R, %temp%, won't that get me straight to the temp files folder? Yeah. She's saying log files in the temp folder. And she says it's a new thing. So I'm going to sort by L's. These are all folders. So I don't have any folders called log. Let's get down to where the files are. See if we have files that begin with the word log. Yeah, if you
Al J said type temp and run, no percentages.
Type temp and run no percentages. Type temp and run no percentages. Windows key R, temp. Yeah, okay. I didn't even know that was a thing. Or if I ever knew it, I forgot it because I don't care about it. Oh, all these log files. Yeah, I got tons of log files. It starts with the name of the computer, then a date.
LJJ said yes.
A date code. And there's, these are teeny tiny files. There's 3 on the 23rd. The 24th has 11. When I click and then scroll down to the end of the 25s and shift click down in the bottom right corner, it tells me how many I have selected, just in case there's a lot of them and you don't want to count through them individually. That's 8 on the 27th. And these would be created by Windows somehow. Now let's take a look, see if we can have a look inside. Double click. Here's the log file. Showing dates and times, apparently keeping track of things that have happened. Now this is actually recall apparently does something along these lines. I probably should not put a whole lot of that on YouTube broadcast, since I don't know if there's any security concerns about displaying that content at this point. But they're very tiny files. I think my initial reaction is they are designed into Windows, so I would be reluctant to mess with them. So I took all of my log files, 236 items selected, right click and choose properties. That'll tell me all of those combined are 29 megabytes of space they're occupying. I don't see a reason to go mess with something that is part of what the operating system does and wants to be there. Have you found in all of the advice from people who are minimalists wanting to strip down the Windows operating system, I've never heard them wanting to delete those. Of course, disk cleanup, anything that goes after temp files would possibly delete those. You're welcome, Alice. But after you use one of those, one of the built-in tools or a third-party tool for deleting temp files, go back and look and see if it actually did delete those temp files. Because I've seen in some cases where you, like using disk cleanup, I have had occasions where I've run disk cleanup and I go look at a particular collection of files that I thought would be deleted and they weren't. But I go back to, I don't want to mess with it until I really determine that that's safe to do. Then let's see. Oh, I have a couple other things to get. Nobody's reported popping or ticking or clicking. I did some more research and more tests on that yesterday. I'm not going to go through all of what I did, but the thing that I saw that I thought was most intriguing was this YouTube video. Windows 10 crackling and popping. Audio's clean so far. Read chat.
Oystein said audio is fine today.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I did.
Rand Israel said audio is clean so far.
Okay. I'm still looking to find what Zavi wanted me to get to. Looking at Zavi's prior comments. Let's do it with a search. There's one. For muting audio, you can use Nursoft Sound Volume View. Muting audio. Why would I don't feel that I have anything missing. Why would I want something else to mute audio? My Stream Deck buttons are working for muting audio. I'm not sure why you're suggesting this for me. Yeah, the playback that I was getting, all I had to do is hit the speaker button on that tab. I want to do that on that tab. I don't have any reason why I would want some other program for muting audio. Am I missing something? Okay, move on until Storage sense to clear those files automatically. Okay, so let me get back to telling you about what I did yesterday with this. Yeah, what he does here, I'll click the play button and you'll see him disable a bunch of his sound items, sound drivers. And he never actually did play the audio that he was trying to fix, which a lot of the videos that I found on this subject did not do that.
Zvi Manor said you said that mute by the button. You mute YouTube and not Zoom.
Oh, well, I have created a multifunction button to mute both of them. And then I realized I don't like the way that one works because it doesn't give me a visual cue. So what I'm just going to have two buttons, one for muting YouTube and one for muting Zoom, and I'll be able to see on this Stream Deck the mute. You said that the mute by the button, mute YouTube and not Zoom. Yeah, but all I had to do was add a configuration button on Stream Deck to mute Zoom. No big deal. All right, so then go back. Oh, so I want to show you what I did in Device Manager. Thank you for offering that, Zvi. I guess I didn't finish the story that I have solved that. So here's what I've got in Device Manager. I have disabled XSplit, Sonic Studio Virtual Mixer, MIFA, which is a Bluetooth speaker, Live Gamer Duo, which is my capture card. So right now I cannot connect to Baby Beast. In fact, I'll show you what happens if I try, since I have disabled the driver, not just the sound, but the entire driver, because this is sound video on game controllers. So disabling that is disabling the sound function of that capture card, and it's disabling the video. But here I'll press the button for Baby Beast, and you don't see Baby Beast. You only see my picture in pictures. And I also did HyperX Cloud MX, which is this gaming headset that I wound up going back to this because this was just as good. And Broadcaster was a XSplit element. So I've deactivated all of those. And then I'm also prepared, if you told me that you were still getting those clicks, taps, tips. I don't like calling them pops because pop is a specific thing about P's, B's, and T's if you're very close to the microphone. And that's when you put on a pop filter. It's got a name. The word pop is reserved for that. It's a different thing. But anyway, I've got this USB cable that's plugged into Big B, so I can switch over to that direct cable if we were still having those. Now, remember, we did test that alternate USB cable previously, but that was when we were trying to troubleshoot the audio cutouts, where the audio would completely drop for 2 or 3 frames of the video. There's 30 frames of video in each second. So it was just 2 or 3 seconds. We were troubleshooting that. That issue got resolved by getting rid of that filter in OBS. I thought that I had to have the filter because the mute button on this microphone is flaky. If I hit the mute button on the microphone, it'll act like a speaker volume control when you turn it, and it just clicks and taps, and your speakers don't work right, or you wiggle a microphone. It's an electronic connection in that button, I think. That is not good. So I just won't use that mute button. And that's why the conversation about adding another Stream Deck mute button. So it looks to me like disabling all of those ones that I disabled solved that clicking problem, tapping, tipping, whatever. But it's probably only one of those that was actually the cause of the problem. Since I'm not using XSplit anymore, my next move will be to actually right-click and uninstall these devices. I'm a little bit reluctant to do that during the stream,
said clicks are back.
but it's probably okay. Ken is saying clicks are back. Now, I don't trust what Ken says at all. He would totally be a person who would say that just to mess with me. So our other people, oh, Steve Mercure heard a click. All right.
Read chat, please.
See Abose. Abose is here when he's saying clicks are back, and he says see chat, which is Abose, or Aboke. That's the other way to pronounce that. If you don't like the pronunciation of Bose, you can pronounce it
Live said
Aboke.
that would be French.
Aboke. That would be Klingon, right? Click, pop, tap. Oh, darn it. Okay, so let's switch to the other. Let's switch to the other USB and see what that does. So, and told you the long one's disconnected now. Now the short one is connected.
John Williams said it. Ken Stout Live has clicking from his car CV axle.
This is the underarm USB. It's a particular technology of USB. It's called an underarm USB, and it has to be run under your armpit to work right. On dog headphones, not hearing anything to complain about. Yeah, well, your headphones might filter that. Either filter it or might not have the sensitivity to reproduce it. Pushing buttons on, having the effect, making pots and clicks. I think he meant pops. He's using speech to text. Car CV axle, been there, had that. So your armpit is a click filter. Under Armour shirt. Was this not? I do have some Under Armour shirts. This one's not. The name of the circuit is called a debounce circuit. I'm suspecting he's talking about an actual valid electronic circuit.
Ken Stout Live said, at Zivi Manor, it is actually English.
English. The speaker bot, that sounded like Angrish to me. That's when it's angry English. Swahili. Removes unwanted input noises from button switches, other user inputs. Well, that could be something too. There could be something about circuitry in this microphone that is not good. Now, I also did some more research on XLR versus USB, and I've got a lot of...
John Williams said a different type of Ringlish?
I've got a lot more knowledge now about the difference between XLR and USB, but I found nobody reporting that the quality of sound that you can get between USB and XLR is a
Chris Garrett
difference.
said hello at LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts and everyone.
Hello, Chris. Now, the biggest, most boldest difference between them, I don't think that causes a problem when I hit that. Why is the audio industry, why are they so focused on XLR? That's an easy answer. And I couldn't have responded with this yesterday, but it's just a duh. It's because with USB microphones, you have to be plugged into a USB port on a computer. You can't mix multiple microphones. You got one microphone at a time. If you want to mix them, you have to get some extra component involved in the process. But the sound industry has been XLR for a long, long time, and you can easily mix microphones. Also, the XLR cables can run for hundreds of feet without any degradation, whereas USB cables, you're much, much shorter. What, 20, 30 feet? And that's even with some, I have extra power added in.
Chris Garrett said this guy looks confused.
All right, Chris. I got your number. I know where you live. No, I don't. Just don't tell him that. Okay. You're probably in your USB XLR research. But what I am interested in, a potential is going to a dynamic microphone, dynamic USB. That sounds quite attractive to me. Now, it does a better job of cutting out ambient noise in the room. I don't have much, and I don't think you're hearing any of my graphics fan noise, are you? Yeah, I think you guys did say you're hearing my graphics fan. I'll demonstrate by
Chris
turning.
Garrett said my number is 867, 5,309.
Yeah. All right. So the graphics fan is running right now, and can you actually see it? Oh no, it's not. The graphics fan is not running. That's why I feel so warm. It's not running. Let's turn it on. Instead of giving the wake-up call for my Amazon Echo device, I'm going to press the button on it. Turn graphics fan on.
Okay.
Yeah, you could see it spin up in the background, right? Let's see, over that shoulder. So do you hear the graphics fan? Because I don't have any filters running right now. So switching to dynamic mic instead of this condenser mic would help with that.
No way.
Selden Ball says, no, do not hear the graphics fan.
Ken Stout Lives,
Did I say fan?
8675309.
No graphics fan. Ran Israel says, barely audible. It's significantly loud to me. All right. Good. Well, I don't need to switch to a dynamic mic for that reason. Now, what has happened with the taps, clicks, and stuff since I changed the USB cable? Yes, affirmative. Is that to yes, there are clicks, or yes, you hear the fan? Since I've had a couple questions. Lawn Dog says it's been quieter, no complaints. Alice says clicks.
John Williams said at Ken Stout Live, what is the area code?
So I think
Yes, affirmative.
Alice is saying she is hearing clicks. Greg heard click. Okay, so this is not doing it. Just heard a click after a long period of clean audio. Now, let's consider this. If I go, we're close to the end of the show. Yeah, we're over time. I don't recall if I've looked to see if Carrie has a show or Ken has a show. Carrie does not. Ken would have said something, I think. If he does, he does not. So let's bring chat room back up and let's go try a couple other things. Now, this could shut down the show. Device
Ken Stoutlive
manager
said something, I think.
Something I think. I don't know what something I think means. Use your video audio analyzer through this podcast. Yeah, I will. Electronic type of clicking. There's a distinct pattern. Yes. If you click, yeah, it's a different click. The key, and I've got silent keyboard and silent mouse now. But here's what I'll try. What else in sound and video can I disable? Well, I can disable the webcam.
Said some clicking, but not beeping anymore.
Not beeping. Okay, I'm not clicking. Yeah, it's the clicking that I'm working on trying to eliminate now. Beeping. What was beeping about? I don't know. But anyway, the webcams, they are configured in OBS. So if I disable them, is OBS going to freak out? When I started OBS after having disabled the capture card, OBS did not freak out, even though it is still configured. So I'm going to try disabling the webcams that I'm not using right now. See if that does something. Now, the capture card, I had to restart the computer. Disabling it gave me a message that you have to restart the computer
Martin Hogg
for
said
this
just
to take
send
effect.
a Tachyon pulse to the subspace relay alpha 274.
This Logitech Stream
Ron
Cam.
Israel said, I think Zvi meant the beeping hiss from Saturday. They are gone.
Okay, yeah, the beeping hiss, that got fixed by removing the filter and never touching the mute button on the Blue Yeti. So the camera I'm using is the Stream Cam. So disable this one, and then I'll need to continue in overtime to see if you hear clicks. Disable this one. One of the things that came up in the videos that I was pursuing is people saying that it was EMI interference between cables, and when they connected their microphone to a different computer, had no problem. Then they used a USB hub for their microphone, and I think it was a Blue Yeti, and that USB hub, the USB wires were not near other USB wires, and that helped. But this direct USB wire that I'm doing right now to Big Beast is going to the front panel, so it's not near any other cables.
Selden Ball said clicks.
Okay, Selden's hearing clicks. What else do I have? Oh, this one is the headset that I'm using right now. So I will, if I switch to my speakers, I don't think you'll get, yeah, you would get feedback when SpeakerBot talks, because you'll be hearing it through the OBS podcast, and my microphone will pick it up. I think you'll hear feedback. So I'll do that as the last thing. Have I done Realtek audio would be the audio circuitry on the motherboard. Yeti Classic, of course, is the microphone. So this one is the only one left. So I'm gonna turn this off, and then let's see what happens with SpeakerBot, because SpeakerBot audio is going to come through my speakers, and the microphone might pick that up. So give me a SpeakerBot, somebody.
Al-J said SpeakerBot.
John Williams said hello.
Selden Ball said SpeakerBot? Bot?
So did you get echoing for all of those? That last one, that echoed might have been bot because I unmuted the live stream. But now we want to go long enough to see if there is.
Ken Stoutlive said, what did I miss? I had sounds of silence.
I'm going to.
Selden Ball said only the last one.
Only the last one echoed. Awesome. So OBS is taking care of that. So I'll disable both of these. So now those drivers are disabled. Well, lots of stuff disabled. Echoing. Ran Israel says hearing echoing. Echoing of my voice or echoing of SpeakerBot? In order to keep us going a little bit, let's do bring chat room back up. Not anymore, but before. All right. Somebody had suggested msconfig for limiting the amount of memory that the computer is using on restart. That doesn't work.
ZV Manners said another test.
Okay. Doug, we're dealing with timing issues. There's more echo after you make the test. I'll have to go replay the video for myself to understand what you're saying there. There is, oh, no more echo after you made the test? Okay, probably when I unmuted my monitoring tab. It should have been the only time you heard echoing. Oh, Sinvicious, in response, we had some email exchanges about his ongoing monitor issue. I do have integrated graphics on his motherboard and more HDMI cable that are overused. I use Ivani. Yeah, I suggested that he take out his graphics card from his computer and connect one of the big monitors directly to the motherboard. Okay, so let's get back to MS-config and that limiting the amount of memory. Advanced options, maximum memory. So if you want to restrict how much memory your computer is going to use, I'll put a check mark there. That looks kind of obvious. 131,072. Well, currently the computer has 128 gigabytes of memory. 131,072 megabytes mathematically will come out to 128
John
gigabytes.
Williams said, sad news, Jerry West passed away.
I am sorry for your loss, and people are going to ridicule me for not knowing who Jerry West is. Sorry about that. So what do you think I need to do here if I want to limit that to 32 gigabytes of RAM? Should I change this number to 32.0, whatever the number is? Should I, still hearing clicking, Greg says. All right. Should I highlight this and type in the new number? Should I use the down arrow or the up arrow? Shouldn't any of those methods work? What do you think is going to happen if I click the down arrow? Doesn't that make sense?
Israel said 32768.
32768 would be the right number. Okay, so let's try that. 32768. Because I had not looked up that number. I do not have that one memorized. So, right? You like that? If I click OK, looks good, right? Well, what happens if I go back in there? The number's not there anymore. Let me go do it this way. 32768. And press the tab key just to move to a different field. That works okay. There is no apply button. Click OK. Now, I have not tried restarting yet. But it seems like that number should stick.
Israel said, did you click apply and restart?
I have not applied and restarted yet because this behavior that I saw in here just convinced me that it was broken. Let me show you this. Let's say now. Remember, this came in with a number to begin with. When I take the check mark off now, it says 256, which is the maximum amount of memory, 256 gigabytes. Not megabytes, obviously, 256 gigabytes that Windows 11 Pro can handle. If I put the check mark back, what happens? Now, what do you think is going to happen if I press the down arrow from 256? Down arrow does nothing. It won't go anywhere. What do you think is going to happen if I press the up arrow? It goes down. When I click the up arrow, that number goes down. This thing is just all kinds of weird. And I have not tried to apply and restart yet. I will try that and report tomorrow. But this thing was just all kinds of weird. There's the 131.72 again. Now click the up arrow and it goes to 255. Then 254, 253. Remove that. I mean, this is just very weird behavior. Now it goes back to that number. Down arrow goes to 256. Just weird. All right. Well, that's enough of that. Now I'll go here and put in that number 32768. Click OK. Keep in mind any of this stuff I'm doing might crash the stream, and then click apply. System configuration cannot save the original boot configuration for later restoration. Boot changes will be reverted. The value is protected by secure boot policy. There we go. And cannot be modified or deleted. So I have to turn off secure boot before I'm going to be able to change memory. All right. Well, that took me a step further into that. So clicks are still there, right? Well, I'm going to go back and listen to the video, so I don't need to go look at what you've said there. That's it. There you got yourself some overtime today. You can send an email for an issue that you'd like me to cover on the show, or a question of about an issue you're having with your computer. You can put a comment on any video. You can ask in the chat room. Frosty Winnipeg says, I held back. Don't hold back. Please ask your question early if that's what you're referring to. Oh, I think he was referring to the 867 that Ken was asking about. Oh, now I've discovered that I can press the begin stream button on the Stream Deck to end the stream. Oh, there goes up.
V Manor said overtime.